what up, everybody?
How you doing?
Yo, what up, everybody? How we doing today?
We're good.
You doing all right?
Yeah, I had a kiddo homesick with me today, so
That's always fun.
yeah, but I got really good snuggles, and we watched alien movies, and
You got
nice.
snuggles.
It was nice. And
Yeah.
anytime that Bubs is like calm and snuggly, you got to take advantage of that shit. Because that kid
Gotcha.
is full tilt.
I
Full tilt.
understand. I got one of them too.
Finally, the intro and not just the ads. Hi, everybody.
What up, everybody?
I think Katz is here. Someone asked if Katz.
Princess. What up, Jess?
What's up?
James, what up, bro?
What's up?
Ames, what's happening, yo?
The moment has come. Like it's some
Scotty?
epic moment.
Tway Mama Bear, what's going on?
Everybody, all of
We
our
get everybody. I
friends
think we
here
got
this
everybody.
evening. Yeah, it probably doesn't help that, like, you know, I didn't make little hey, we are having this show tonight. I feel like we're not, you know, and by we I mean me, are not very consistent.
JRO. Well, and you know, we haven't
Well,
been
because
doing
we were
it
gonna have Fiegel on Tuesday. But Fiegel started doing a sport.
Cats meow.
There she is. So he wasn't able to make it, and then I manipulated Tex into thinking that he needed the night off.
At least you admit that.
Oh, totally.
I totally caught on to it. I was just going along
Because
with
I
it.
didn't have a valid excuse to not do the show on Tuesday. I really didn't. Like, besides the fact that I was just tired. And then, you know, my daughter, Allie, who also has Ehlers-Danlos and she has Chiari and stuff, she was going through some really bad medical stuff last year. And she had her follow-up appointment that Tuesday too. So I was just tired.
Before we get like going into this, I just wanted to like withdraw our number one fan. Adam doesn't have us on this profile anymore, so like we gotta remove him as being our number one sponsor from now on.
We had a good run.
We did.
We had a good
We
run.
did. I mean, Adam sponsored us for, you know, about a month or so.
I mean, really before that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he's always talks about us. So like,
right.
you know.
Then there was that time that he liked us. Yeah, everybody should tell Tex happy birthday because Tex's birthday is on Sunday. For some reason, I thought your birthday was in like next month.
Nobody has to tell me happy birthday. It's just another fucking day. That's all it is.
No, it's not.
Oh man. Ames in the hospital.
What the shit, bro? Oh, is she getting it's good that you guys are getting her evaluated. Yeah.
Oh, y'all stop it.
We'll have to figure out who the number one.
It's another day.
How old are you gonna be for this birthday?
I'm close. I'm like 41, I think, somewhere in there. I don't know. I lose count. I try not to, you know.
I did a couple of years ago. For a whole year, I thought I was that age until I saw a printout at the doctor's office with my real age on it.
Yeah.
And I cried a little.
Well, thank you, everybody. No need, though.
Like I lost
no need. You guys are good.
I'm doing the 4-0 this year.
I know.
I'm a little scared.
It is scary.
There's another thing that I wanted to.
And then you like reach another level of zero fucks given. Like once you're 40, like, yeah.
I'm waiting for that. Like, I'm excited for that. Like, I'm already irritated at like kids running through my yard. So like it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. I'm not complaining. I'm excited to get old. I want to get old because then I have an excuse.
Yeah, I mean,
4.0.
Telling you what, once you get that 4.0, like it's like all down.
It's all downhill.
I mean, like once you cross that 4.0, like your fucks not given gets like.
I've noticed this with my husband.
Yeah,
it's dramatically different each year. Dramatically.
Yeah,
my husband does get an old fart.
Yeah,
he's the oldest one in the group. Also, everybody, if you guys have some time this evening or this week or any inclination, if If you guys could click the link in my bio over on my Instagrammy and go to the first tab, that is a GoFundMe that I have up there. It is for Jen Rader. I know that a lot of you guys know her from the Tiki Talkie, and she lost her sister very tragically. And there's a GoFundMe up in regards to that, and the money will just go to burial cost as well as to her children, her surviving children and husband. So if you guys could check that out, if you guys can. I also know that things are really tough right now. Just share it maybe or anything like that. So
Well, I guess Murder the Meemaw can help you with that if you need it.
I got both.
Meemaw the Murderer can help you with
I got that and a super hot husband that will help me in and out of there.
See, Meemaw the Murderer doesn't have that, so
no, she doesn't. She doesn't.
But Joey may not want that either.
Probably not. Probably not.
Well, what are we talking about today, yo?
I got a little obsessed with something.
Oh shit!
So I came across a
Man, you already got a seat.
I came across a story day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Story that came out of North Carolina or South Carolina. I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of how to start this. So the mother and her daughter. So 13-year-old little girl. Her name's Christina.
Yeah, we probably should put this up there today.
Yeah, I did. I put it up when we first came in. So just so you guys know, we are going to be talking about some sensitive stuff this evening. I'm also going to be showing some footage and going over the court proceedings and where we're at in court thus far. This does involve a child's passing.
Yeah, so I'll be smoking while Kat does this because I can't handle this shit.
This is also probably going to, you told me to do the show. You told me, you're like, let's just talk about it.
I know. I mean, but thankfully I got, one of these. So we're.
Well, and I don't know why. And I was telling another friend this yesterday. I feel like I'm supposed to talk about this. I don't know why. It's cheesy and weird, but I feel very
it ain't cheesy. Pulled. That's for sure.
I feel very pulled by this story. So Christina was born with cerebral palsy as well as being.
Do we have a picture of her?
Verbal. I do. Chill out.
Yeah. Well, I thought maybe while you're talking about it, we can show.
I was pulling it up.
As your hands were right here. You weren't pulling it up.
So this is Christina. Christina was, like I said, she was born with cerebral palsy, which left her wheelchair confined. When it came to moving around, she could crawl around on the floor, but that's about it. She was also nonverbal. So she did make noises, babbled, things like that. So this is her mother and her mother's boyfriend. So the mother's name is Rita and the boyfriend's name is Larry.
Real winners.
And they are currently being charged. So they are out on bond now. This happened in 2019.
What's wrong with her? She ain't got no teeth.
Hey, watch it. So this was a car death, in the car, overheated death. The mother's story when police arrived was that she had gone over to Larry's and was running in for your good butters. She was running into the house temporarily just to grab. I understand too, but I feel like I'm supposed to talk about it.
No, hey, you do you. Go ahead.
Because I don't know why this one doesn't have the media attention really that it should. Her story was that she went into the house to get cigarettes. This is her boyfriend's house. And that when she went back to the car, she realized that the car was locked with the keys inside of it, running. So this is her story of what she said. Now, what I think the boyfriend and her weren't thinking about was that the security camera that the boyfriend had outside of his house was going. And I'm just pulling up, I have like little notes so that I don't get anything wrong with this. So they didn't realize that they didn't realize that the cameras were out there. And of course, all this kind of goes up into a cloud too. Now, we also need to discuss the fact that the mother, her toxicology report came back and she had methamphetamine in her system, and so did the boyfriend. Now, this mother was also Teacher of the Year in 2014. She was like very well known in her community. She was
Teacher of the Year.
Teacher of the Year in 2014. So this happened in 2019, but we're just now getting to trial. But both of them had that in their system. So the mother hasn't testified yet. I've watched all 5 hours of the security footage, and I have broken it. I've compressed it as much as I could. So we're going to start with the first video. I'm just going to make sure that this is muted. So you can see here the car. That's the car in question. That's the Jetta. You can see Larry carrying Christina, which was the 13-year-old child of Rita, who is in the red. So you can see that he carries her out to the car. So she did not stop for a pack of cigarettes. So he's going to put her in the car, and this is 11:17 a.m. So some of it I'll talk over, some of it we'll just kind of sit through. Yeah. But yeah, she was Teacher of the Year. She brought the daughter with her to work a lot. A lot of the kids and community had known about that. I'm really sorry for the people who don't want to stay. I'm sorry that we're doing such a sensitive one. I just feel like it's supposed to be
Ain't no need to
out
apologize.
there.
Just keep going. You're good.
And you can see now that like they're arguing outside of the car. So Larry did testify.
So the child is in the car right now.
The child is in the car right now, and now this
What
is
time is
on.
it?
This is on more than double speed. So this is immediately from putting her in the car at 11:17.
Okay.
So they're arguing for a while. Now Larry did end up testifying, and he stated that they had come over the night before. So they had spent the night. This was the next morning. He had found out that she had been unfaithful to him. He had been up all night because that's kind of a side effect of the methy meth.
So it's 11:20 right there.
And now we're at 11:43, and this is where they go inside the house, and they're in the house until 12:32.
So this child
has already been in the car for over an hour.
Yeah, an hour and 15 minutes.
Now, so I'm pausing it. So Larry's story is that up until this point, that the next morning he had found out that Rita had been unfaithful. So they were fighting, they were arguing. Like I said, they were both using meth at the time. And his story is that I'm gonna get to that in just one second. So his story was that he put her in the car, and that he says that the car was running when he put her in it. But if you go back to the beginning of this video, there's no video of like Rita starting the car. So maybe to play devil's advocate, maybe it was a remote starter. He claims that the car was running when he put Christina into the car. And that they had started arguing about the infidelity that he found out about. She didn't want to go. She wanted to stay and fight and argue. At this point, they had gone back in the house. They were arguing a little bit. She comes out of the house. Now it really sucks that this blue pole is in there. But you're going to notice that she opens the driver's side door. It's very, very quick, okay? So let me rewind it a little bit. So here comes Rita, and notice how she opens the driver's side door first. And she kind of leans into the car. And now then she's going to go, and she open and close the back door.
Okay.
Which I find like really weird. Like, why did you go?
Now the driver's door is open.
Right now, both of them are open.
Well, I think she
See, because now
just
she's leaned into the back seat where Christina is, and
okay.
then
So
shuts
all
both
doors are
doors.
closed.
Yep.
So what time is it?
This is at 11:43.
Is it
They
still
went back in the house
12:30?
12:30.
So this child is still in a car.
Yes.
Okay, just
So
checking.
the child is still in the car.
That is
Um,
special, like clearly special needs. Like
yeah, nonverbal. She can't communicate. She can't yell for help. She can't open up the door. She can't do anything.
right,
So I
and
think so
like she
total
can't
time in
walk,
the
right?
car as of right now is approximately an hour and 15 minutes. And that's where we're at with this one. So now we go into the second video, which I have to pause because I took this video from another person that I had done the footage. So, and she's really funny. I'll link the original place that I got it. Her commentary on it is funny, but I sped her video up so her commentary you're not gonna be able to hear. So now this is
So
3
okay, hang
p.m.
on. Just to so from 3 p.m. to that last one at 12:32,
Right.
this child still has never left the car.
No.
Has
So from
have they gone back?
11:17 to 3 p.m., the child has not left the car yet. She was
So where's the
also from
gap?
12:30 to 3, she was in the house with him.
She was in the house with him. That's where the
Yes.
gap is for their
Right. I mean, the video
for
was
3 hours.
literally just hours of the car. So as you can see here, Rita and Larry come back out. And Larry's not wearing a shirt anymore. So Larry did actually testify that they were quote unquote making up. Good to know, Pablo, because
Thank you,
I'm in
Pablo.
like one of those sleuth groups for this case now. Like I can't stop. I don't know why, but so they continue to fight. Now, mind you, this is at 3 o'clock. Oh no, Megan, they put her in the car. So now
Yeah.
you can see like she's checking out the car. This is when she realizes that the doors are locked
Why'd
with
she
the
go to the
keys in the car.
passenger side though?
Right? That was a question that I had too. Like, why was that the first door? Because you were opening up the driver's door and the passenger's door just fine at 12,
Right.
12:30, right? 12:25, I think is what it is. So now, mind you, been in the car from 11:15 until now. Now we're after 3 p.m. And now she realizes that she can't get in the car. So you would think like sheer panic would ensue. She tries all the doors now here at this point.
Where's the key fob?
She claims that it's in the car. That this is when she realized that she locked the keys in the car.
Oh, so the keys are in the car now.
Yes.
Okay.
And allegedly the car is running with the air conditioning on.
So for anybody that doesn't know cars, you would hear that air condition running because it's hot outside.
Also remember that was what he claimed. So this is them kind of, looking in the car. I don't know why they keep looking at like this just seems to me like any average person that locked their keys in their car with nobody in it. Like that's the reaction.
especially with a child in the car.
Yeah. So they kind of just don't really care a whole heck of a lot. Now, mind you, her original testimony was she only went into the house to grab a pack of cigarettes.
For 3 hours.
Is what she told police. It's funny because the girl who did the commentary on this, like I said, I'll link it after the show. She just talks about how much Larry like is just constantly itching himself. So she looks a little perplexed, right? Now, this is just my opinion. My opinion is that she looks that way after, I'm just rewinding it, she finally made her way to the side of the car that the daughter would have been in, right? Because mind you, it's after 3.
Do we know this answer?
What is this? How do we know the kid was alive when they put her in
That's
the
a
car?
good question.
She did look limp, but I can show you in a minute. I can go back to the first video. I don't know if I'm able to zoom in. she's holding her own head up. Christina is. So she did have cerebral palsy, which would make her very limp in all of her limbs anyways. But the way that Larry is holding her, her back is kind of here, and Christina's head is like she's holding it up on her own. I rewound that a bunch of times. But if you see Rita finally made her way over there, and then just look at his demeanor after she makes her way back to that. Like, he's waving his hands around, like he's passionately talking. And that's when she starts to look like, oh, fuck. It was 98 degrees outside that day. The medical report, so that's the end of this one. I don't even remember what video that was. Was that 3?
Yeah.
Was that 3? Okay. So, shit, what was I saying? It was 98 degrees outside. And according to the medical examiner, he said exactly right. Why aren't they breaking windows? He said that the inside of the car could have gotten, it would have been approximately 135 degrees.
Oh, in the car?
In the car. That the actual temperature of the car was over 130 degrees. And she's been there now from 11 until that time. My personal opinion, and I know a lot of people that are following this as personal opinion, is that that's when they realized that she was dead. Now there's no proof to that, but I mean, you got to figure she's been in that car for how long. This is also a special needs child, right? This is a child who does not eat or drink by mouth. All of her nutrition is given to her TPN. She's going to run a way higher risk of becoming dehydrated way faster than the average bear.
At 3 hours, even if she was like normal in a healthy child,
right,
that's still too long at that temperature, regardless.
And even with the argument of, the air conditioning was on, okay, this is still a child who is in a pamper. You didn't go out to check her diaper. You didn't go out to make sure she didn't need anything to eat or drink for this goes on. It was 5.5 hours total.
How many?
5.5.
All right. So now
this is now, I think the time is going to come up in a second. I think it said 3 something.
That's 1.
3:13.
Yeah.
So this is 3:13 p.m. Isn't this the one that we just watched? Maybe? No, this is them back messing around with the car, I think. Or is this the one that we just watched? No, this is them still trying to get into the car by themselves. So at this point, police have not been called. No one has been called. No one has been notified that there's any kind of an emergency, and they're just trying to get in the car themselves. I wanted to get to the part because at one point they start violently shaking the car. I think I already fast forwarded past
Which could be to see if their suspicions correct.
Right. So at this point now, you'll see him get on his phone. This is the point that he called a locksmith, not the police, a local locksmith. Now, the locksmith's testimony was that he went to go get a spare set of keys, which is very weird because that hasn't happened yet. Yes, yet. They are going, it gets a little bit worse. So he's on the phone with the locksmith. The locksmith allegedly, Ames, they're not just sitting, they're going to swing now too. So he was in contact with a locksmith in regards to how do I get in the car? Then he tricks in the car. Mom joins him for, a nice little swing on the porch. There are some people who I am in a group with that cover this that had stated that it really kind of looks like they're coming up with a plan now. you know, to kind of cover up like what they had just done. So they hang out on the front porch for a while. And then no, that's
okay. So now we have sped up.
This is 340. So what you're looking at now are two different camera angles. So it's a split screen. Over to the left, you're going to see the Volkswagen Jetta, which is the car that Christina is still in. Over on the right, you're going to see the blue truck, and that is Larry King's truck. Because now they have come up with the idea that she has an extra set of keys back at her house, which is 15 miles away. So they're going to go get them. They kind of argue in front of the car for a little bit or talk. Now, notice how she won't get in the car. And it's probably because the car is 130 freaking degrees. So she won't even get in the car and shut the door without airing it out. They're still not in any way, shape, or form in a rush. I mean, Larry still doesn't have a shirt on. Talk and hang out some more by the car. And I hate how long some of the clips are, but at the same time, I feel like you need to see it a little slowed down to realize like how much time actually went by. So now he's back in the house. She's airing out the really hot truck, which when she opened up the door originally, when she checked in around 12:15, there's also some public speculation that she did that to air the AC out of the car, and that when she leaned into the front seat, she was actually turning on the heat. But like I said, that's public speculation. Like that's not, and the video is still playing, just so you guys know. Larry just is still in the house. He's back now though, with his sunglasses. So yeah, so now they're gonna go to Rita's, which is, like I said, is 15 miles from Larry's house, to get her spare set of keys. And that brings us to, it is now 3:55. Actually, I don't think that timestamp was right. Shit, I think that was the video with the wrong timestamp. So they leave. Yes, they just left. You'll see them drive by the Jetta right now. And they're going to get Rita's spare set of keys. An hour later, so that was the right timestamp. Almost an hour later, they return. So now they're back. Now, mind you, like, what did that timestamp say? 3:55. So that baby's been in that car since 11:15. Zero urgency to get out of the car. They actually, I sped this up. I think that they estimated that they stayed in the car for about 5 minutes once they pulled up. And then she gets back and she immediately goes to the passenger side door. But now their story is that the key fob, that this key fob was broken and wouldn't unlock the car, that they couldn't get it to unlock the car. And this is also sped up. They're not moving frantically.
This damn near feels planned.
It does, doesn't it? There's also a part, I don't know if it's happened yet or not, but you'll notice them pushing the key fob and saying, see right here, see how the lights, watch the lights on the Jetta. This front left light here right now as he's pushing the key fob box. See how the light blinks? Did you see that?
Yeah.
So the key fob is obviously working, right? It was a switchable key fob. You press the button.
Yeah, I remember. They're like little switchblade knives.
Yeah. So
it
she's
has
saying,
a key. is what he's saying. So it would have a keyhole. So
Right.
he wouldn't even need the fob, even if it wasn't working. Just put the key in the hole.
Well, even the locksmith had said that even if it wasn't one of the flippy ones, that usually it's got like an emergency key in it, and you just gotta like pop it open. So this is still after they're back to hanging out. Like they're making out right here. They're hugging, they're kissing. So like there's zero urgency. They've looked in the windows, dude. They know. Like,
and when it flashing like that, that means the car's not on. The way that it flashed, is that what you're saying?
And a lot, there was speculation of that, like the way that the car blinked.
Pablo may know. He's got all these facts on this.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, what if the car was running, would it do that? So they've started court now. Now they're in trial. Day one of trial was medical examiner. Definitely talking about the heat inside the car. He also shared with the court that the child's body temperature was at 109.9, which is as high as a thermometer will read. So she maxed it out. Let me see. The locksmith was the phone call. What other information do we have here? I'm going to save that for a little bit.
Clearly the key fob was working because their lights were flashing.
Exactly. And they didn't. Like this was still until because I do believe that at a certain point, like ambulances were called, and because the boyfriend called, and this was like it would have locked and flashed and unlocked. If the car was running and locked, it would flash when unlocked. That's what I remember. That's what my car used to do. A lot of people were talking about the way that it flashed.
Because it flashed once or multiple times?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a really weird spin that like the defense is trying to do for the boyfriend is they weren't that close, him and the daughter, right? Like this was his girlfriend. Him and the girlfriend didn't live together. They had just gotten back together like 4 weeks before this incident happened. But before that, they were together for a long time. And I know that because I found Rita's Facebook and spent like a day and a half going through her Facebook. It looks like they were together for a really long time leading into it. They broke up for whatever reason and then got back together. But the defense is trying to really like have distance between Christina, the little girl, and the boyfriend, and stating that like he wasn't that close to her. But what was really weird is that the lawyer, like 45 minutes later, was like, Larry's the one that called 911. And when Larry called 911, he said, my daughter is in the car. So obviously there was more of a relationship. Like, I don't know why they're trying to do that. She did have like burns that were from like the sun coming in through the window. Like she had blisters. So where's that? The charges that they're currently facing is murder, criminal conspiracy, and great bodily harm to a child. And then so day one, they also heard from a woman named Lindsay Lewis, and she was a babysitter. So you know how Rita, the mom, was a teacher. So the babysitter actually took her class. She taught like those elective classes, like the how to be adult home ec type thing. And the girl was in her class years before. The girl graduated, was like looking at going into nursing. And so her mother and Rita talked, and they were like, hey, you know, we can teach you Christina's routine. This is prior, right? This is years before. And when she testified, she said she had learned Christina's routine that day. The mom was going out on a date with Larry, the boyfriend, same boyfriend. She left Friday and she didn't come home until Sunday. She left no food in the house. Now, devil's advocate, the child did not need food because the child was she only drank Ensure, and there was plenty of that there. But you still left like a whole adult there with your child, not knowing how long you'd be gone for. And she had reported that she said that she would grocery shop on Saturday and she never showed up on Saturday. And then Sunday came around and she showed up like nothing happened. So she testified to that. And also that there was bed bugs in Christina's bed. And then there was another woman named Brittany. She was a former friend of Rita. She had moved in with Rita temporarily, had some hard times. And so she moved in with Rita. This is really hard when I'm like the main one talking, and I always do this at this point. So now we have like an awkward silence.
Your picture's nice though.
Isn't it though?
It is.
So she moved in with her like during hard times, was only there for a couple of months just to get back on her feet. It was her and I think her 2 children. So Rita was like trying to get her to watch Christina all the time too. And she did occasionally watch Christina. But there was a day that she was like, I need you to take her. And, you know, Brittany had explained to Rita, I have to work. And she testified that Rita had told her just to leave her in the car with the windows rolled down because Rita did that all the time. So that's some pretty damning testimony considering the way that this child passed.
Right.
And then at the end of that, the jury then had to watch all 5 hours of that footage, not edited or sped up. So that was pretty much like end of day one.
Was that the prosecution that did that?
What?
That made them sit and watch it?
Yeah.
That was for theatrics.
Yeah. But at the same time,
no, I know what he's doing, and that's good.
Like it needed to be done because like I've watched the footage sped up and I watched it like on court TV, but when I actually obtained like the link to watch the full footage, it was haunting. And as a juror, you're making this decision. You have to know exactly what went down. And if that means you have to uncomfortably sit for 5 hours, then so be it, you know, like to feel the weight of it. And that's what I'm worried about, Ames, with the charges that they have. I don't know, but like day 2, they were both, you know, they were reported that like originally the defense lawyers, because they both have different lawyers, Rita and Larry, but they're being tried together. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. So like Rita's lawyer will get up and ask a bunch of questions and sit down. And then Larry's lawyer will get up and ask a bunch of, it's very bizarre. But they didn't want their drug use to be brought up in the court hearing because they didn't think that it was like relevant. So the way that this defense lawyer tried to do that, and he sucks, he's not good. From what I've seen, the state's lawyer is good. Like the prosecutor is good.
Yeah.
Like he got me crying within the first 2 minutes of his opening statement. Like he's very good and he's very passionate about this case.
Right.
But they're going on the Larry did meth every day, all day. And Larry was still able to maintain a job. And Larry was a functioning addict. So it wasn't uncommon for him to not be high. I swear to you, like that's what but that's what his defense is trying to do.
You know, I don't know.
But they also found evidence that decompensation had already begun. Like that's how long she was in there. That's how hot. And that's why a couple of like the online sleuths think that she may have actually turned the heat on and had the air going on when he put her in. But when she went back out at 12:15, we don't know what they said. We don't know what argument was in there. We don't know if dude was like, this is too much for me. I can't handle this. Like, what the prosecution is pushing for time-wise? Nope. Nothing like that has been said yet. But they did find out that, yep, I want to just get through all these so we can just talk and I can put my damn phone down. Her temperature was over 109. There was evidence that the decomposition had already begun based on the nature of her injuries. They had also found that she had vomited and aspirated into her lungs as she was actively passing. So Larry King testified that the car was running with the air conditioning on when he placed Christina in the car August 5th. Larry said that he knew Christina but did not consider himself responsible for her. But he did refer to her as his daughter in the 911 call, which I don't like that. On cross, Larry admitted that he knew that Rita was using methamphetamine that weekend and that neither he nor Rita opened the front door of the car during the portion of the video shown in court. Larry said that he didn't know what Rita did when she opened, and this is why I think something happened. When she went out there at 12:29 by herself, he made it a point, like I watched his testimony, and it made no sense for him to make the statement that he did with the question, but he was very adamant on stating that he did not know what Rita did when she opened the door at 12:29.
Well,
Front door, that the driver's door, that he didn't know what she was doing. But it's weird to me that like that comes up, but I know that defense is saying that she was looking at the gauges. I'm like, for what? Because she didn't just go in real quick. You know what I'm saying? Like she was in that front seat for a minute, like for like a half a minute by herself. What are you doing?
Right.
And then she went and looked. But right now it's like it's recess. They didn't go to court today because of weather, and it picks back up tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'm just worried though, that by the guidelines of the law, are they going to be able to get the charges to stick? Like, how do you prove conspiracy? And even like court TV is even saying that like that was the dumbest charge that they threw on there because it's one of the hardest ones to prove in court. But like, can they prove that it was planned? Or was this just a case, not just, but like, is this a case of like negligent homicide? Do you know what would cause that? Okay, well, you should. What would cause that early, like that quickly to happen? Because she was definitely. See, they're stating that she was definitely alive when she went into the car. Like they're both sides are agreeing on this. Could something happen? Like, what if the mom turned the heat on in the car? That's what I'm wondering. Like,
well,
on
then
top
it's
of
even
the car.
hotter. Then it's even hotter in the car.
That's what I'm saying. Like, would that cause decomposition to start?
That poor girl suffocated. You can't breathe in that heat.
And now here's the part that just, hey, Tex, ask me how many CPS reports were done. How many CPS calls were done in regards to that child?
How many?
5.
Oh,
5 reports, one of them coming from the actual school that she attended because there was a burn on her that was left untreated and started like rotting out. Decomposition can happen. Speed it up, but not that much. Maybe that's going to be a twist in the hearing coming up. It can only get so hot even with the heater on.
Yeah.
Unless like they had said that she had like gotten sick and aspirated. So like, what if that happened in the house? You know what I mean? Like, what if it happened in the house and as she was walking out? Well, and here's the thing with CPS. So I'm not a big pro CPS person. Obviously, there is a lot of corruption within our CPS system. We know this to be very, very true. But unfortunately, they are what we have for situations like that. Like the goal is definitely to get better people in those positions. But another big goal here would be for like false CPS reports to probably stop backlogging CPS system, whether it be from bitter baby mama, baby daddy custody battles. We know that happens every freaking day. Or whether they're done out of spite, like you're backing up systems. And Yeah, 5 times. 5 fucking times.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating to me because you do I am still seeing the shit from TikTok drama on Instagram and people still threatening to call CPS on people and everything else. Like, you're calling on these people when these are the people that we need to be finding. Those 5 calls should have gone. That little girl should have never been in that situation. She couldn't walk. She couldn't talk. She couldn't do anything for herself at all whatsoever. And they left her in that car like trash.
Right.
And like, her Facebook photos send me off because they're very like Casey Anthony remnant to me. They're very like active mom, doing all the things. Like, she was like heavier set. Her face was filled out. Like, she was happy and healthy, the mom. And then in turn, the little girl, her hair was always done really cute. And like, her wheelchair was always decked out. And then you see like post meeting this King guy. You know what I mean? That would be, I would assume that they would have done, I'll dig around for that tomorrow because I wanted to see like what the toxicology report on Christina was if they had done one, because that information was not provided. So if there was neglect, likely there would be bed sores and they are often confused. Okay. And then with the heat on top of it and everything else, because one of the DCF reports had said that it was for, I do believe it was like a burn somewhere, like chest, neck, face area that was left untreated and got really nasty and they had called. But so I think that including the school, there were 6 calls made to Child Protective Services and they never investigated. So there is also a wrongful death suit for DCF. Is that what it's called? Here we call it, up here in Michigan, we call it CPS. But I've heard it referred to as DCF before.
DCFS, yeah.
DCFS. That's how that's what they're calling it. I know there's like a wrongful death suit for that one, but I don't know. I saw this little girl's face and watched the story and I wasn't seeing anything about it a whole lot of places. And I just feel like her little face should be in a lot of places.
It's sad.
And I do feel like special laws need to be made around kids like Christina. Like, if they don't end up with murder and they end up with something else, they should get double the sentence because she was not able to care for herself. You know, she wasn't able to get out of the car. She was completely helpless.
Right.
To me, your charge should be much more severe. I mean, you shouldn't do it to anybody, but
yeah, I agree. Like, the whole thing. I'm going to
be following it.
Like,
she was 13, Megan. She was 13. She's really tiny, so doesn't look like she was 13, but she was 13. That could have been sunburn from being left in the sun, neglect. Yeah. It just looks like mom met a guy and wanted her fun girl, YOLO, hot girl summer or some shit, and started hopping on motorcycle. Not that there's anything wrong with motorcycles, but like started just hopping on the back of this guy's bike all the time.
Driving around without a shirt on. Like, that's the first sign of an idiot.
It's the first sign of, yeah. But what makes me so mad is like his testimony now, excuse me, because you got to realize this was 2019. So he's sober now. He's clean. He's sober. He found the Lord. He's saved by Jesus. So he's got weight on him, but their behavior in the courtroom is wild because like she's always sitting like this, just bawling both court hearings, crying pretty much consistently through both court hearings. And then there's her lawyer, and then there's Mr. Larry King, and he's, she's all dressed nice. He's in some like button down, no tie, pair of khakis, and he's legit sitting in his chair like this in court. I shit you not, like listening to the whole thing. And then when he gets up to testify, they have him, hand on the Bible, do you yada, yada, yada. And then as you're walking around, they'll say, state your name again for the record, spell your last name. So he did that and then sat down. And then as the lawyer's walking up to ask him questions, he whole ass turns to the jury and was like, how y'all doing today? What are you doing? You're being charged with murder. Like, I get that you want to be likable to the jury because they're deciding your fate. But like, bro, they already hate you off the bat. Like, take it slow. Just say what happened and let it go. Because no matter what, at the end of the day, there's 5 hours of footage of you guys going in the house. They fully admitted that they were going in the house to have sex. They kept calling it making up. And the state wouldn't let them call it that. The state was like, you were in there having sex. Yeah, we were making up. No, you were like, stop trying to make, like, you chose to go and have sex over a child essentially being cooked in a car, literally steps away from your door. Steps away from your door. Yeah, the lawyer warned him and the judge did too. He got like a warning from both. I don't know if she's going to testify. I hope she does. I'd like to see her testimony. The only witness, there was one other witness that got called in, which was like her old boss when she was a teacher. It was the principal of the school. And she was going on and on about how great she was and how much she loved her daughter. Then it comes out that the witness hadn't seen her in like 10 plus years, over 10 years. But went and saw her after she was arrested, which is weird. Like, maybe she's just a true crime junkie and like wants in on that shit. That wouldn't surprise me. But her rebuttal to that was, well, we're mutuals on Facebook. And all the photos, they always looked so happy. Like, that's your star witness for this girl's character. That's your character witness. Facebook friend. And I went through the broad's Facebook and like, I don't know what picture she's talking about. Like, they're way down there on the list. So if you've been following her the whole time, then you should know that she went from this to this in a matter of a year and you didn't do shit. And that little girl's pictures went from real pretty and dressed up to her hair hardly being brushed to none, to only photos of her and the boyfriend. How are you not self-aware enough to see that? Like, if you all of a sudden started only posting photos of yourself on your Facebook and you weren't engaging with like your wife anymore, like, I would notice that. That's like it's a pattern of behavior here when you're friends with people.
Right.
But she was just like, they looked real happy on Facebook. And everybody was like, okay, lady, have a good day. It's wild.
It's sad.
And what scares me is I worry if the charges are actually going to stick. Because neither one of them are flopping on each other. That's the main thing, is that they're staying pretty united in their story.
No, they're not. Yeah. He kind of already rolled over.
I mean, yeah, he did say that he didn't know what she was doing in the front, which was weird. It's insinuating.
Shoot, bus coming over you.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope they start flipping on each other because I think that they both need to be in prison.
It might have been too high to remember anything anyways.
Well, and that's the other thing. This happened in 2019. You're telling me that in 2019, you were all fuckered up on meth. And now in 2023, after COVID, we've been through some shit since 2019 collectively. You're telling me that you remember that the car was running. But then the other lawyer questioned him and was like, did you see her start the car? He said, no. And he goes, then how do you know that it was running? You didn't see her start the car. So how do you know that it was running? And he couldn't answer the question. Most people would answer the question with, I could hear the Right. Most people would answer that. I could hear the car running and the radio was on, the air conditioning was going.
Right.
There are a ton of adjectives that you can use here to describe a running car.
Right.
He had no answer. And then wound up admitting, yeah, I guess you're right. So you don't know if the car was running. And then he changes it to, but I just know. I know that car was running with the AC on when I put that little girl in there. I don't think it was. I think that now he's going to try to pretend that it was. Just in my gut, I feel like she just wanted to get rid of her so that she could live her most independent life, because you don't have an independent life when you have a child like that, and you never will again. That child is with you until the day that you die, and then you need to be really worried about where that child is going to go when you pass away.
Yeah, I wonder if they did have daytime lights, but
they blinked when they pushed the key fob.
Well, those are just the like parking lights.
Oh yeah,
weren't they?
Yeah,
I don't think it's the headlights, but yeah.
But this was once again, it was in South Carolina. You guys can follow the story like on Court TV, share it. I think that more people should be talking about it, because we know that like public pressure of people talking about things tends to get better sentences when they know that they're being watched. Court TV is covering some of it. They're posting it kind of weird, but
it's a hard one to show on TV. In all honesty, like I can't say I don't blame anybody for it's difficult.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but like that exists in our world, and even though it's horrible and we don't want to see it and we don't want to watch it, we can all agree that we don't want to see it. We can all agree that we don't want to watch it. This is something that has nothing to do with politics or what you believe in or what God you worship or anything. Like, these are the big matters that we can collectively come together on and be like, this is not okay. And we need to make sure that these people do not get away with things like this. And I hope to God that the charges stick.
Yeah.
And I also hope that at some point there's, a lot more stricter laws when it comes to children who are disabled. I also hope that fucks that use CPS as a weapon see stories like this and say, shit, maybe I shouldn't be wasting the resources that are out there for the children like this, whether we like CPS or not. I don't like CPS either, but unfortunately, it's all we fucking have.
People are too ignorant for that. Way too ignorant. Kat, you're gonna have to lift us up somehow. So, like,
I know we got like 10 minutes. We can like that. That's all. I mean, that's everything up until this point. So I'll keep updating on my Instagram. I'll make a video after the next court hearing, or a longer video and put it up here on Freedom Fam. But that is where we are at as far as court. So now I'm gonna let Tex pick a topic.
No, you're gonna have to uplift us now because we're at the end.
You want to talk about fucking Oprah? Fuck Oprah.
Oh, yeah, fuck
the
Oprah.
The balls on that woman for that. Just, I can't wrap my head around Oprah Winfrey right now. Trying to get us to give her our money, coming on there with The Rock, with Maui from Moana. Give us your money.
That's how they get richer.
No. Fuck them. I want to know why there's a wall around that place now. They're calling it dust screens. Like, I have too many. Texas just passed a law. No more amount of.
I didn't know that.
Get your name. And it should be like that. It should be anonymous to the person. You know what I mean? Like, if Tex called on me and didn't want me to know that it was him, but he was genuinely worried, he should still have to give his information to CPS and then say, I want to remain anonymous to the person. I think,
mind you, too, the reason why they did anonymous altogether was because of FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. So they are a government agency.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be able to FOIA like some of this stuff.
But you can't.
Well, that we know of. I mean, who's ever tried to FOIA anything, especially when it comes to a name of somebody to report? Mm-hmm. You can't. If you can't get a name, you can't get it. So of course you can't.
I wanted.
That's my point. You're proving my point.
Right. I wanted to file to figure out who did it, And they said, yep, you just go down and you file it. And then it was under that, but I don't know the person's name, and they won't give me the person's name in order to get the FOIA.
Right. But
because we had a false report years and years and years ago during a pretty nasty custody battle. And that person, I mean, Michigan kind of doesn't fuck around with it though, because that person did get charges from it for filing a fraudulent CPS report. Like they don't fuck around here.
Right.
But it shouldn't be anonymous. It shouldn't. If it's happening and you're really that worried about it, then you should be able and comfortable to completely say it with your full name because you're helping people.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Everyone smash it. Yeah, I don't understand those dust screens. I don't understand all of the Hawaii stuff. But on a positive note, Mitch McConnell has been medically cleared to continue doing his job, even though he stopped talking again mid-sentence and didn't know what was going on again.
Yeah.
That's some positive news that Mitch has been medically cleared.
I mean,
I just want to know who his doctor is.
At this point, I think we should just put old Mitch in the White House. Like that should be we should just all do Mitch McConnell 2024.
Oh, McConnell and Biden together.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great duo.
That'd be a great duo. No, Megan, swear to God, he was medically cleared.
Hey, we're on Saturday, right?
Is Saturday the
2nd?
Saturday is the 2nd?
Yeah.
Yes.
And
yes.
What's Saturday?
I'm just confirming. Yeah. I'm just I was not confirming, but double looking. So this Saturday we have a special episode, Freedom Fam, same time, same place. And we are going to do that interview that I had to cancel with Axel Arzola. This is this guy. You can't see. He's an independent filmmaker. He's done a lot of interviews with a lot of people. And I had shared one of his videos and it got out there pretty good. And
who's the guy that he interviewed that went crazy? That
I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
But who is he to who?
Good friends with Andrew Tate.
Okay, so this guy, the guy that we're interviewing, got some backlash for interviewing the friend of Andrew Tate.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, and then the video that I posted of the interview, like the comments on that thing, man, people were so mad. So mad. And I don't understand it because he started it off with, I don't have any hate towards these women, but I just find it really weird. I mean, I'm not directly quoting, but that he had nothing against the women, but that he found it crazy that girls who shake their ass on Instagram get more respect and recognition than the hardworking men that built this country. And it was so many people that were mad. Like, women did too. Yeah, I know. We celebrate women all the effing time. All the time.
Yeah, it was just National Women's Equality Day the other day.
And bashing men, all men. Like we just constantly slam men. So it was either people that were really mad that like women didn't get brought up enough, which gave me total pick me vibes. I'm like, or they were like, well, the guy that's, building the country is paying for her to shake her ass on Instagram. Okay, cool. We just said no hate to the girl. He just found it weird.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't this thing, but people were
People hate
mad.
the truth. They hate the
But
truth.
I think they're just mad because he's that guy's friend, and that guy isn't very well liked, I guess. Right. The Andrew Taters.
I don't have an opinion on Andrew Tate.
I don't have an opinion. I don't know enough about him to have an opinion on him. But that'll be fun. It'll be fun. He's from Cuba originally. He's an American citizen now. So I thought it would be really cool to talk to him about, what does he see anything happening here that, you know, or does he think that we're all a bunch of entitled assholes that are whining and crying over nothing? You know what I mean? Like, what are his opinions? Because Cuba is scary.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't have what we have here. And he's openly said that. He's like, if I did what I'm doing now in Cuba, like I couldn't do that.
Right.
You can't just get online and say whatever you want to say in Cuba. That doesn't happen.
But
And then I think like over there too, you have to serve 2 years in the military. From like a certain age to a certain age. You have to.
Yeah, probably.
I watched a video today. I'll just tell you quick before we go. It was this guy that was talking about like the difference in how we raise our children in different countries and how he felt that in America we prolong our children's adolescence.
Yeah. Parents do it.
And that hit me a little.
There's 25-year-olds still living at home with their mom. That's prolonging
and they
their
were talking about,
adolescence.
especially with our little boys, like we prolong out their adolescence a really long time to where he's from, and I can't remember where he said he was. Ghana. Is that how you pronounce it? Ghana. But that they're, 9-year-old boys over there, they have like a maturity level of like our 20-year-old men here. Like they're very responsible. They take care of their households. They take care of the women in the like. And to where here,
but look at what we're doing now. We're prolonging it even further when you raise the voting age to 21 because we don't trust our 18-year-olds. That's prolonging it.
Wait, prolonging is that a thing again? Are we doing that again?
Yeah, they're trying to, or prolonging even owning a gun. Like this is what we do.
Guyana. Am I saying that right? I apologize if I'm not saying it right. Guyana. It was a really good video though, but they were just talking about the differences in other countries with how we rate and how we're allowing them to raise stupid children.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will see y'all on Saturday then. Same time, same place.
I also apologize for bringing down the vibes tonight. I just thought it was an important. I felt led.
Have a good night, everybody.